I thought for a long time now that we need to have a flagpole up here at our property. I almost built one last year out of a maple tree that was about 20 feet long. And I thought that today is probably a perfect day to get this flagpole put in. So I have this piece of pipe that I paid $15 for. Any piece of pipe could be used, I guess, but I want this to be about 15 feet out of the ground, which means I can put 6 feet of it in the ground, which should make it nice and sturdy. I went and got some clasps, some eye bolts, some string, and I went and picked up a 2-inch cap just to put on the top of the flagpole. I guess I had a hard time buying one of these internet flagpoles that was made in China. I thought I might as well do it myself, although most flags are made in China these days. So anyway, I'll collectively have less than 30 bucks tied up in this thing, and a little bit of effort. First thing to do is pick the location. We're gonna have a nice big porch right here off the front of the shop house, so I thought maybe I'd put it right here where it's visible yet easy to get to. So I need to dig down 6 feet if I can. You know, there's a spot right here out in between about 5 or 6 trees that I think would be a better location for the flagpole. It's right out in front of kind of both houses. I'm going to put it out here instead. All right, I was able to get down to just below that coupling, so about 5.5 feet. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark, so if 5.5 feet is ground level, approximately right here is ground level, then I want the knot to be about waist high, so I'll say somewhere right in here. So that's where I need to drill my first hole for the eye bolt. Now, because this location right here, I can't get to the back of it to put a nut behind it with the eye bolt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap the 2-inch Schedule 40 pipe. So well, I've decided to tap this top one. That way they look the same. The next step is I'm going to measure the distance between the eyelets, which should be about 32 inches. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little wider than that so it keeps the flag tight while it's on the pole. The next step is to pull the nylon twine through, leaving enough slack to figure out the width on the flag. I know the flag eyelets are 32 inches apart, so what I want to do is set the snap rings about 36 inches apart, and what this is going to do is keep the flag tight as long as the string is tight. So all that I'm going to do, so these are adjustable, slip through, pull back on itself, pull it around, tighten it up. As long as the string is tight, that'll stay tight. So now I need to go 36 inches away from this. It's a little bit less than 36 inches, so I'm going to push the one side in, slide it around, and that should now give me 36 inches. We're about an inch short, so let's see how that does. Good enough. I want to get it as tight as I can. As this gets used, as the wind blows, this is going to loosen up. This piece of nylon is supposed to be good for up to 70 pounds. Even if we have to replace it at some point down the road, it's not that big of a deal. But I do want it tight. I want it as tight as I can get it. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do the old knot that my dad taught me to tie my sleeping bag when I was a kid. All right, so I'm going to create basically what's called what I call a slip knot. I don't know if that's the proper slip knot. I don't hardly remember any of my knots from when I was a scout. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm after right there. So now I'm going to run the other end through. And pull it tight. Now I could even go up. And I'm not going to tell you how tight to go, but I'm going to go pretty tight. Okay, again, pull it tight. Go back up through. Easiest knot in the world. And I'm going to do it one more time. Maybe even two more times. Okay, done. I'm going to cut the excess off. Maybe burn the end of that so it doesn't fray too much. That's it. Okay, now I need to get the post set down in the hole and find level. Now, getting the pole stood up in the hole can be dangerous. This piece of pipe weighs right around 100 pounds. It can be awkward, and there's definitely a chance this could come back on you and hurt you. Part of the reason I'm putting it down as deep as I am in the ground is to avoid this thing coming over at any time in the near future. What I like to do is get the end in the hole and progressively stand it up. Again, if this is something you're not comfortable with, make sure you've got some help. Okay, now I need to put my level on it and make sure it's as close to plumb as I can get it before I start backfilling. Now I need to attach the flag at the eyelets. As this nylon line loosens up, it may be prone to sending the flag down. It's pretty tight right now. It's actually kind of difficult to get up, so I don't think it will, but what I'm going to do is I just marked with the Sharpie, I'm going to put a knot right there that's just going to kind of slow down or hopefully prevent it from sliding back down if the wind blows. So there she is. Not too bad for 30 minutes worth of work and about 30 bucks. I've wanted to do this for a long time. I think the last thing that I'm going to do is go find some river rock, put a circle around that, put some good topsoil in there, and maybe go buy some flowers. That might be the best improvement I've done on the property so far.